any research writing, the starting point. The starting point is indeed always the most fundamental point, right? Where you would begin your research journey. Now we have with us Professor Dr. Kumar, who is a pioneer research scholar in media research. He has a master degree from Nagpur University and PhD from Calcutta University. Dr. Kumar was awarded a Fulbright scholarship in 1987-88, and he studied at Newhouse School of Public Communication, Syracuse, New York, and also interned with Columbia Broadcasting Service, New York. He has worked with Mysore University for 22 long years, and later on joined Manipur University and worked there for Philippines. During his long academic career with his early lecturer, he has also worked with various other prestigious educational institutes like College of Applied Science, Sultanate of Human under the Ministry of Higher Education, then Amrita University, Manipal, University Jaipur, and lastly, the Lovely Professional University, Punjab, where he is also currently associated. He has guided 7 PhD scholars and completed 4 major research projects, apart from attending numerous seminars and conferences. Dr. Kumar also has published more than 22 papers across various prestigious international and national journals. Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for being with us to take the session for the participants. Sir, the stage is yours. So I will
Thank
share
you.
the PPT.
Yeah.
I would request the participants to respond whether the PPT is visible or not.
Yes, sir, visible.
Thank you. Sir?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I don't know whether I pronounced your name properly or not. Okay. Hopefully, I
Yes,
pronounced it.
we cannot hear you.
Okay. Thank you. This is the shorter version of my presentation. The elaborated version is already there with Adamas University. Those participants who are interested in using the content may ask sir to pass it on to you. He will definitely share it. Professionally, I strongly believe in extempore talking, but nowadays, participants look for some content. So I thought I will share. Now, I think there are about 6 or 7 slides in this presentation. They are just points for me as a part of reference. Okay, so there is nothing much for you to note. Listen to me very carefully, because in communication, we normally tend to hear but not listen. So there is a lot of difference between hearing and listening. Okay, so I would want my fellow colleagues to listen to me carefully and point out the errors which I may have committed in the process of my presentation, and ask me questions to clarify doubts, if any. Okay. Before I start my lecture, let me introduce the place where I'm living in. It's a very small city called Mysore. The entire population is about 17 lakhs, which might be just a very small area in a metropolitan city like Kolkata. Very beautiful city, city of palaces, known for its tourism. And let me tell you, in the past 40 years I've been living here, I never came across any traffic jam. So, but I have visited Kolkata a couple of times and I got stuck in many places. And if I go to Bangalore, I'm really scared, another metropolitan city is just about 150 kilometers from my place. So this is where I live. Okay, very, very close to Mysore University, where I worked for a long time. It's about 4 kilometers. And I take about 2.5 to 3 minutes to reach my department. You can just imagine the traffic here, even now. Okay, so let's go to the first slide. Yeah. So these are the points which I would like to talk about, not necessarily in the form of a one-way lecture. That is normally given to the graduate or the undergraduate students. I cannot lecture to my colleagues who are sitting approximately 2,500 kilometers away from me. So probably I would be talking to you rather than lecturing. So sometime back, sir called me and said, sir, we have an issue. Like, what is that? He said, sir, naming the child is a challenge rather than the child itself. That means I'm pointing out to how do we look for a research topic. Right, sir? Are you listening to me? Yeah, good. So first of all, let me clarify a very, very basic point. That is, we are not investigating something which has happened some time back. Neither we are inventing. Both we are not doing as a research.
We cannot hear you.
What happened? My audio is fine. I'm able to hear you. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maybe some small glitch here and there. Whenever you have issues like this, let me know. Am I clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, fine. So we are not doing any innovation also. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to do research. Now look at the word there in the PowerPoint. It is research. That means there are two words in one word. So honestly speaking, a lot of search has been done and it is available to us in some form or the other. Earlier it was library, textbooks, journals, printed. Now everything is available online. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to research in the area which is already searched upon. That is the challenge. So we should not think that we are the first people to do something on the earth. No, it's not going to happen. Now, if you look into the available literature today, of course, it's abundant. When I started my research, my only exposure was the library which was there in my university and libraries which were there in some other universities. Beyond that, no exposure. So at that point of time, conducting research was not a challenge because a lot of material was not available. But today, if you say that, sir, I'm trying to do research in this area, immediately your supervisor or guide will say, Madam, sir, a lot of research has been done in this area. What are you trying to do? So it's like, let me tell you, days are very difficult because we are trying to look at a search needle in the haystack. But as an academic, You need to do research. You need to develop yourself. And at some point of time, you should be able to reach a stage where you say, yes, I have done so much of work. That's it. Beyond that, nothing. Probably this is where Adamas University fits in by taking up this very important responsibility, that is faculty development program. Unfortunately, we did not have such programs within the universities, but we also had like refresher courses in the field of journalism, mass communication, which was conducted by academic staff colleges. Nowadays, I don't think academic staff colleges are relevant anymore, because every university, every department is capable of developing its own faculty. So, searching for a topic is always a challenge. Now, when you start looking for a topic, look at that word logic. Okay? So when you search for a topic, you should see the logic behind that search. Otherwise, a topic is a topic. Like say, for example, I'm a South Indian. My name is Kaushal. Kumar, forget it, it's like an all-rounder. Why Kaushal? What is the logic behind? Can I not be something, a typical South Indian, Nagraj, Lakshmi Narayan? But there must be some logic behind my name. Similarly, all of you have a logic behind your name. I saw one name, Lakshmi Mishra, here. So the logic is Lakshmi is goddess of wealth. Mishra tells that Lakshmi belongs to some category of our society. Similarly, when you are thinking of the research topic, keep that logic in mind. What is this logic? There are two methods of looking at logic. One is a very old method given by Aristotle, what is called as the deductive logic. That means from a very broad thinking, you deduce yourself to something very narrow so that you can study and come down to some conclusion. Now, this deductive logic began the day when humans started thinking about thinking. I don't think you can even think about such a situation. Before that, what was there? Belief. Belief in God, belief in king. So it was an era of belief. Later on, during the time of Aristotle, the era of thinking began. So this is where they started deducing from a major premise to a minor premise to draw conclusion. This is exactly what we do when we look for the conduct of a research. Let me take an example of the days of Aristotle, then compare that with the days of today. During the days of Aristotle, they wanted to know whether Socrates is a mortal or not. Matlab, will Socrates die or not? So how can you say Socrates is mortal? So they used deductive logic, saying that all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. So Socrates is mortal. Very simple. People deduced it this way. They did not bother whether all men are mortal is faulty or not. Fine, it worked. But in case if that major premise itself is faulty, like say for example, all men are good, Socrates is a man, and Socrates is a good man. Immediately, madam sitting in front of the PPT will say, sir, how can you say all men are good? Because we know among the men, there are good and bad. So, with a faulty major premise, drawing conclusion would be a challenge. As an answer to this came the next logic, that is deductive logic, where, sorry, inductive logic, where you observe. That means now as a researcher, you start observing a phenomena to draw conclusion. So you have to keep these two logics in mind, then try to look at a research topic. In fact, I attended a couple of title registration seminars, meetings in Adamas University, I think last week. When I was looking at those titles, they were looking like newspaper headlines. 20 dead, bombs hurled during Panchayat elections in West Bengal. What do I do with them? Am I going to investigate the dead ones, or the bombs, or the elections? Well, never. Be careful. Your title should not look like a headline. Now you might be asking, when I say title, then how should it look like? A good research title shall and should show a logical relationship between an independent and a dependent variable. You might be asking, sir, in Aristotelian logic, where is the dependent variable and where is the independent variable? Independent variable is all men are mortal. The dependent variable is Socrates is a man. Hence, the conclusion drawn based on the relationship between the two statements made will be Socrates is mortal. Now, you might ask, sir, how is it related to inductive logic? Again, the relationship is there. All men are mortal. Our observation shows that men in the sense humans. Why exclude women here? Okay? Humans. We all take birth and we all die. That is our observation. लोग पैदा होते रहते हैं, लोग मरते रहते हैं. That is our observation. So based on that observation that men do die, all of them, then Socrates is a man, he will also die one day. So this is the kind of logical relationship we should establish when selecting a topic. I'll just give you an example. Forget Aristotle, forget inductive logic, forget deductive logic. I'll give you an example in our own. One of my students wanted to do a PhD, and he said, "Sir, I want to do my PhD, give me a topic." I said, "Yes, don't worry. There is a topic in my pocket, take it." That's not going to happen. Nobody can say jadoo, jadoo, jadoo and come out with a topic by lifting the hat. Then I told him, don't worry, you shouldn't be disappointed. Otherwise, you will go for a person who is ready with a couple of topics in his pocket and he will give it. I said, which is the area which you are interested? He said, sir, I don't understand your question. Then I clarified saying that, are you interested in some theoretical background which you would like to question or establish? Point number 3, that means your topic should be closely associated with a theory. That means a good research topic will either test the theory and say whether the theory stands good or the theory is faulty. Point number 3, please make note. Conceptualizing the research rationale. So, deductive logic, yes, it is necessary because you have to show the relationship between an independent and a dependent variable. Inductive logic is also necessary because you should be able to observe the relationship between the dependent and the independent variable. Otherwise, it is not possible to draw conclusions. If I don't observe sir here, I cannot draw conclusion that is a very smart looking person. Correct? You're smart, honestly, compared to me. Okay? So the rationale is your research should be closely related to some theory. What happens is when we are in master's degree, people like me who are good in theory are given classes early in the morning at about 9 o'clock. The reason is, to you people who are sitting in front of me, theory is boring. So if I get a theory class at about 3 o'clock in the evening, 90% of my class will sleep. That is why theory classes are given early in the morning, so that you're fresh in the class, at least you listen to something. Otherwise, theory is boring. Remember, my dear friends, the microphone which is there in front of me and sir is also theory. Don't be the end user in research. Never. It should not be like buy a bulb in the shop, fix it in the holder, switch it on, aa gaya light. No. As a researcher, you are not the end user. You are the creator, protector, and the destroyer of research. Remember that. You are not the end user. You create, you protect, and you destroy. All the 3 are with you. How? Throughout our life, someone gave a question paper to us and we answered. LKG, teacher will give some figures and say, what is it? We say star, banana, apple. Master's degree, Sayal sir will ask 10 questions and ask you to write 5 answers. You answer. But in research, The question paper is yours. The answer is also yours. And the evaluation is also yours. Nowhere it happens. That is why you are the creator, you are the protector, and you are the destroyer. So I did not give the topic to my student and asked him, Baba, you learned a lot of theories in master's degree, and I myself taught you all those. Go back to the library, study them, and come back. Then he said, sir, as it is, your classes were boring. Now you want me to go and sleep in the library also. I said, go, but sleep. But at the same time, do a little bit of reading also. The library is a very beautiful place to sleep. And I did it many times. So he went there after 10, 15 days. He came back with a very small note in his hand. Sir, I studied all of them. They're all boring. But one thing is very interesting. I said, oh my God, you have a theory which is interesting. Obviously, he wants to do his PhD. This is not master's degree exam. He has to ask a question for himself, answer it, and evaluate it also. I said, which is that theory? Sir, I was worried about this concept called conceptualizing. Na? Uses and gratification. Ye hota kya hai? You see, my candidate is online now. He is interested in understanding application of uses and gratifications. Good. Now comes the next selection of research topic. So this boy is very clear that he wants to do research in the area of uses and gratification. 2 days back, I was listening to one of the presenters from Adamas University. Unfortunately, there was no theoretical background at all in the topic. Anyway, I did not want to trouble the researcher because if I start troubling you, then probably you will hate doing research. But it is inevitable because you are a faculty. That is how you grow. Research is the only ladder. That is why faculty development programs are there. So I asked him to do a bit of reading. He went back to the library. Now this time he did not sleep. He was reading a bit on uses and gratification. Then he came with a fantastic finding. Sir, I came across an article which was done way back in 1939 on uses and gratification. I said, fantastic. Look, where am I pointing? My pointing is towards review of related literature. If you are a good researcher, you are doing a fantastic job on literature review. So by the time he was able to find the article related to his area of work, it was almost 3 months. Poor chap, he had the patience to deal with me. I don't know why he was dealing with me. He could have gone to someone else with an easier method of doing research. But no problem. Do it. At the end of the day, you need a degree to become something. For me, no. You'll be surprised. After first registration of my topic, it took 19 years for me to complete my PhD. 1919. Passion. I published almost half a dozen research articles in the process and completed 3 research projects also, but not my PhD. Passion. But anyway, I will excuse you people because that will not be there because the life has changed a lot. Noodles ka jamana hai. Okay, fine, nothing wrong in it. I'm not saying noodles are bad for health. So what is this article? This article was published in American journal. I don't know how we got this. It was done by Elihu Katz, who is the proponent of the users and gratification theory. Then I asked him a very simple question, Baba, beautiful theoretical background, beautiful article, but can you tell me why did Elihu Katz do this research? What is the background? Logic? Topic आसान से नहीं होता है ना. Why is me Kushal? It's not a typical South Indian name. So he said, sir, it so happened in America that newspapers went on a strike for 15 days and people did not have a newspaper. So what? So at that point of time, Elihu Katz was thinking what it means to miss a newspaper. Now you see, Elihu Katz has asked a question to himself. This is not given by Dr. Akash Muni, neither Dr. Kushal Kumar. Usi ka question paper hai. The question paper belongs to him because he asked the question, what it means to miss a newspaper. I will ask the same question to you people. Sayal sir, 1 घंटे के लिए इन सब के मोबाइल बंद कर दो. Then you will understand what it looks like missing the mobile phone for 1 hour. So now the topic is something will happen if the newspaper does not come to me. So I have been using newspaper for such a long time. All of a sudden, the newspapers are not there. So what it looks like missing the newspaper. So now Elihu Katz relates this missing the newspaper experiment to his own theory, users and gratification. That means using the newspaper, I was deriving some gratification. Having missed the newspaper, how has it affected my gratification? You see, such a beautiful topic is there in front of you. Users and gratification of mobile phones. Users and gratification of YouTube. Users and gratification of some advertisement. What we see advertisements whether we like it or not, though there is a skip ad option today. What is the use and gratification? 90% of us say no, iska kuch kaam nahi hai. But when we try to buy something, suddenly somewhere and in our mind it comes, Hare, yesterday evening, you can see the tilak in my head. I do puja every day. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So immediately one advertisement came to my mind. after seeing the advertisement, the product. And that was that Balan, that lady actress, South Indian, advertising an agarbatti called Blackstone. Now you see how we relate. So this boy said, sir, I want to work on. I said, fine. At those days, the no mobile, even telephone, it took almost 5 years to get one connection. Aaj to SIM you take at 12 o'clock, at 12:22, you want the connection to be there, though they say 4 hours lagega. You're so impatient. Users and gratification. So conceptualizing the research rationale related to theory, the topic is now related to users and gratification of something. Then comes research problem identification. Fine, research conceptualize ho gaya hai, research topic you have somewhere very close to that. But what is the problem here? See, normally what happens is when we say research problem identification, we always relate it to putting that problem into some perspective so that you can study it. Fine. This is exactly what 99% of our students do it at the master's degree level or at the PhD. Sorry, that is not the purpose. The purpose is something else. So when you identify a research problem, it is not just stating a problem. It is more to do with the sociological approach or a psychological approach or a technical approach. That means now this problem is identified with something larger. That means as a researcher, when you're looking at a problem, look at the larger picture of the problem. In politics, it happens very recently. It happened in Maharashtra. We are all bothered about why Chacha Bhatija are fighting. Is it a family fight? Is Bhatija angry on Chacha? But the larger picture, my dear friends, is completely different. So that is how you have to look at the problem identification. So when you identify a problem, look at the larger picture. How does it affect socially? How does it affect technologically? How does it affect psychologically or any other things which are closely associated with your problem? So my student said, sir, I would like to relate users and gratification to identification of the problem. To what? Sir, social development. Sir, rural development. The link is already there. The larger picture. He may be studying in a very small area, but the larger picture is, can you enlarge the screen and show it to the whole world? I said, yes, fantastic. Then I told him, Baba, और थोड़ा पढ़ के आना. You should read a little more and come back. You have passed through conceptualization. You are almost there selection of the topic, and you also identified the research problem. Something to do with rural development. I said, sir, what should I do now? I come to the next one, identifying research questions. Having so much of the library work, sometimes sleeping, sometimes reading. What is the question you're trying to answer, my dear friend? Research questions. So during the process of his literature review, he came across something else also, which was closer to this topic called rural development or social development. So sometime later he came back and said, I have two things in my mind. Two major things happened in our country which changed the entire face of our country. Larger picture, application. What is that? He said, sir, do you know Operation Flood? Oh my God. What is this Operation Flood? Sir, do you know Swaminathan? Green Revolution. Now he has got two questions. How did Operation Flood came into existence vis-a-vis Anand Milk Union Limited or Amul? Green Revolution. Research questions are already there. He is questioning. How did this come into existence? What happened? Iska background kya hai? So he started studying about Swaminathan. He started studying about our Varki sir. Then I asked him, yes, very good question. Now I told him, it's already happened in Gujarat and it's happening in many other places. It happened in Punjab. It is happening in many other places. What are you searching for? Are you going to repeat what happened in Punjab or are you going to repeat what happened in Gujarat? He said, no, sir, I am not interested. Since you asked me, I told you. But what is that you are finding? See, something has happened in Gujarat, Green Revolution. Oh, okay. Then something happened in Gujarat, White Revolution, okay, Operation Flood, making India self-sufficient in food, grain and milk. Mr. So-and-so, what are you searching? We come to that recognizing the research gap. Because my research has to fill some gap. If I repeat what has happened elsewhere, what is the use? If I go and study the same thing in Punjab and Gujarat, what am I doing? Maybe I'm updating what happened in 1960s and what happened in 1980s or 90s. Updating. I'm not filling any gap. So recognizing the research gap. Then I said, go and do some more literature review and come back. By that time, I think this fellow was very angry on me. I almost told the HOD, sir, I do not want to work under this person. He is damn boring. But he cannot leave me now. Because I had already tickled his mind. So what was the research gap he was looking for? He wanted to understand whether such a thing can be replicated or has been replicated elsewhere and information is not available. Researched information is not available. Now the gap is there. Green Revolution in Punjab must have happened somewhere else. Information is not available. Now he wants to do research and fill that little gap between what happened in Punjab and what happened elsewhere and how did it happen. Research gap. Now how does he do now? He was from Tamil Nadu and he was from a very beautiful place called Tanjavur, which is known for rice cultivation. The same Kaveri water where Karnataka and Tamil Nadu fight every year flows into Tanjavur also. And it's a very beautiful delta it has created, like the delta region of West Bengal, again the same Ganga. So I told him, what exactly is the gap you're trying to fill? Sir, I want to know the uses and gratifications of radio in relation to agricultural practice. Uses and gratifications of using radio related to agricultural practice. You got my point now? There are parts of a good research article, why publishing, journals of publishing. We'll go a little later on. Sayal sir, can we go to the next slide? Hello? Or can I move them? Sayal sir, next slide. So all these things have happened while I was talking. So conceptualization of research rationale, identifying the research area or field. What is the area and field? Uses and gratification. Review of existing literature, starting from 1939, LU cards missing the newspaper to Mr. Swaminathan, Green Revolution, Punjab. Development of thesis statement, uses and gratification of radio in agricultural practices. आजकल कौन पढ़ता है radio? We don't even listen to radio. For me, radio is advertised. I think some faculty in Adamas is doing a fantastic job, making a very good attempt to understand and see what is the fate of community radio in West Bengal. बहुत ही बढ़िया topic. Organizing the argument. Argument क्या है? Does radio play a role like it did elsewhere? Do people listen to radio? Do people practice what radio says? Does it benefit them socially? Does it benefit them economically? What happens? Then obviously counter arguments will come. So I said, bhai, what happened in Punjab? Do you think it is necessary to happen elsewhere? Then he said, sir, why not? If it has not happened elsewhere, we'll say it has not happened elsewhere. If it has happened elsewhere, we will tell the whole world how it has happened elsewhere. Because Green Revolution is supposed to develop into the entire country, not only Punjab. Of course, Punjab is the food basket of our country. That nobody can question that. Okay. So counter argument, a lot of discussions. I told him, go and meet professors, not only in our department, any other department. Check, counter check. Most of us don't do it. I'm an old-fashioned person. I don't use Google Map to go somewhere. I use my intuition to go. Okay. This is what happens is Google Map does not understand whether there is some earthwork going on in the area where the Google Map is showing. पता नहीं, corporation वाले कहीं खड्डा खोद के रख देते हैं. Then what do I do? My intuition. It happened to me many times when I use Google Map. To my own son's house, it created problems. Because all of a sudden, you know, corporation people came and started digging the road. How do I do? What do I do now? Google Map is saying go straight. So counter arguments, that to South India, Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu. Then I said, revise and refine. Sir, now I am very clear. Tanjavur farmers have registered themselves to a particular radio program, which is broadcast from All India Radio Tanjavur, which talks about rice cultivation. Wow, fantastic research problem. Uses and gratification in terms of rice cultivation in rural Tamil Nadu. Then I told him, go to Agricultural University in Tamil Nadu, get some more information. He came back, sir, now I know. What is it? Sir, its name is IR8. IR and number 8. Said, very good. Can you believe, my dear friends? IR8 is a high-yielding variety seed paddy, which was extensively propagated in rural Tamil Nadu, particularly Tanjavur, which is known for rice cultivation. And the farmers became self-sufficient. They became sociologically updated, upgraded, psychologically very happy, and contributing a lot to the economy of Tamil Nadu. That is why Tamil Nadu stands number 2 in economy. 5 South Indian states are well within number 5. Karnataka is 3. Okay? Can you believe? Later on, we found out that this IR8, which is a technical name for a particular high-yielding variety of seed, according to the Agricultural University Tamil Nadu, is popularly known as radio rice in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil language, they call it as Vanuli Arasi. Arasi is rice. Vanuli means radio. Farmers recognize this as not IR8. It is called as radio rice. This is how you come down to a particular topic. So don't think that, you know, topics are going to fall from heavens. The reason is, it's not very difficult for me to give a research topic. Even now, if someone asks me in the FDP, I can give 2 or 3 beautiful research topics and you can get your PhD like this. But what is the use? It's like eating noodles. Search. Search in next slide. Sorry, I'm holding you back. Sayal sir, I'm holding you back.
No.
So, identify your research interest. Yes, I'm interested in mass communication research. I want to use a particular medium. Now, the question is it feasible? Beautiful talk. Radio rice, IR8, is it feasible? Can I really do it? Can I really relate it to users and gratifications? So you should think about the feasibility also. There is, in fact, in my office in Mysore University, there was a small, like, photograph. The photograph is to constantly remind me and those who used to come to my office, don't bite more than you can chew. Don't bite more than you can chew. That applies to research also. See, what happens is we all have beautiful. The other day, that lady was trying to tell me that she wants to study West Bengal community radio. Arey bhaiya, West Bengal is such a big state. So many community radio stations may be there, working or not working. Can you study the entire Bengal? By the time that lady finishes entire Bengal, she would be grandmother. Like me, 19 years for PhD. Of course, the reason for not doing PhD for such a long time is totally different situation. Nothing to do with research. So now you have to think in terms of feasibility. Then narrow down your focus into assessing the significance. Of course, most of us do a lot of research, but what is the significance? Significance does not mean getting a PhD degree. It is a societal significance. It should be significant to the society. Of course, it is significant to you because you get a degree. You become Dr. Fayad. Okay. I'll give one example as to how this significance comes in. I'm giving you live examples which has happened in university, and these are the PhDs. I go to a very recent example. 2018, I had joined Manipal University, Jaipur, because they wanted some old man like me. So in the very first month, they asked me, sir, there's a PhD scholars presentation. We'd be very happy if you can attend, though it is not mandatory for you. I said, if it is not mandatory, then I would like to have a cup of coffee and then come out of that meeting. But if I like, I will sit. So I sat there, was listening to the presentations of the PhD scholars. I think the slide has changed a little bit. One slide, पीछे जाना पड़ेगा. Someone changed it. I'm not seeing the word. Yeah, feasibility. Feasibility only I'm talking. Okay. So there was a student, research scholar, who was trying to find out something to do with mentoring and how do we mentor our students, etc., which is a common word among most of the teachers even now. You don't call yourself as a teacher, you are a mentor now. Because every teacher in every university is supposed to mentor at least 5 bacche. That is the role we are given. I never mentored anybody, not even my own bacha. Okay. Then I told that girl, hey, why are you trying to swim in Arabian Sea or maybe Bay of Bengal, closer to Kolkata? Try to swim in a small swimming pool. Feasibility. He said, sir, Rajasthan, there is no river. Where is the question of sea? Okay. At least in the sand, you get lost. Then she said, sir, I don't understand you. I said, okay, doesn't matter. have a cup of tea. In case if you're still interested in learning how to swim in a swimming pool, please do meet me. So 2 days later, she came and said, sir, wo swimming pool kya hai? I said, madam, the swimming pool is, don't do a survey, but do a experimental research. Now you see how I made it feasible. Feasibility. So you may have fantastic ideas. I want to conquer the whole earth. I came, I saw, I did not conquer. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. I came, I saw, I conquered. So for that, see, consult mentors and experts. I am there. Next point. So she thought I'm an expert. She consulted me. I made it feasible. And consider the relevance and impact. Oh my God, experimental research design. हमारे सारे देश में experimental research design बोलते ही पसीना छूटता है. Because nobody can manage an experimental research design. Very difficult. Conducting an experiment in sociology, very difficult. This is not testing COVID vaccine in few selected hospitals. No? Then I told her, if you do an experimental study, it will be highly relevant and it will have a big impact. Then at the same time, it will reflect on your personal goals and professional goals, because you want to make your study impactful professional goal. Then I told the lady, go and get some feedback. There are so many other research scholars in so many other departments. Go and talk to your peers, get some feedback, try to be flexible, etc., etc., etc. 1 month ke baad, she came back and said, sir, everyone says experimental research design mat karo, don't do it. This old man is fooling you. I said, fine, don't do it. Take a drum, beat it around entire Rajasthan, try to get the data as to how many of them are listening to drum, which you are beating or not. What is the relevance here? When somebody beats the drum, everybody listens to it. I am beating the drum, you are listening. What is the use? Surgeon, next slide. Yeah. So now all these things start happening. Preliminary exploration. Oh my God. Experimental research design. What is experiment? How do I conduct the experiment? What kind of design it should look like? Now I have to narrow down my focus. Entire Rajasthan, Registan, Thar desert to something very, very narrow. Then again reassess the significance, come out with the statement of a problem, etc., 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 etc. will happen now. And align with my research goals, ethical considerations, sab kuch. Now this story will tell you how I changed a survey into an experimental research. So she was trying to find out whether it is possible to do e-mentoring or not. Obviously, mentoring is a very old word. So we add E, it becomes modern. See, automobile is a very old word. But we add E, it becomes modern. EV. So she made it modern, e-mentoring. Fine. So narrowed down mentoring to e-mentoring. That means there should be some kind of a medium between the mentor and the mentee. Narrow down. Assessing the significance. It's not just mentoring, it is E. That means we are using an electronic system to do the mentoring. So now comes the problem statement in refining, because now we have changed from survey drum beating to something very, very narrow in a gully. So e-mentoring among selected graduate students of Jaipur colleges. Narrow. Again, formulating research questions. Naya hai na topic. I'm giving you 2 or 3 examples to stress on the same thing so that you can do a fantastic job at some point of time, I hope. So the questions were like, who are the mentors? Who are the mentees? What are the subjects on which we need mentoring? Because you need a subject to do the mentoring, na? So all these questions started coming up. So initially I think she had some 4 or 5 objectives. Then I said, Bhaiya, itne objectives nahi chahiye. Keep one more than enough. So research objective was reduced to just 1. I think there was one more related to that. I'm forgetting the exact objective. Anyway, the objective was to find out how e-mentoring works in an experimental research design. Then align with my research goals. That means my goal is to tell the whole world that this is feasible, e-mentoring. By using radio, it is possible to grow IR8. By using radio, we can bring in green revolution, white revolution. Ethical considerations. Are experiments really ethical in sociological research? Or is it possible to cheat? Or cheating hota hai research mein. Let me tell you, the moment you say that I have collected my data, put it in an Excel sheet and give it to me, I have a jadoo ki chadi, which will tell how much of the data was collected sitting in Adamas University canteen. And that happened. But I can check whether it is a good data or a bad data. There are software available for Jadoo ki chadi. So, ethical considerations, we go with a very good research design, what is called as pre-test, post-test, experimental group and control group research design. Pre-test, post-test, experimental group and control group research design. Sergey, next slide. So research questions come because of the background knowledge, brainstorming and exploration. Now the point here is testability and measurability. Does my research design stand the test of time, or does it allow me to measure? These are the 2 things we should have. Testability is possible in this research design because it is pre-test, post-test. That means before e-mentoring, there is a test. After the e-mentoring, there is another test. So testable. That means I can test the success or failure of e-mentoring before and after. Before, in the sense, what is the available knowledge with my mentee about a subject he is interested or she is interested in, and what is the enhanced knowledge that my subject got after mentoring. So, pre-test, post-test. So, I will give an example here. A few mentees who were studying commerce in a local college, they wanted to start their own business, but they had no idea. And Rajasthanis, they are known for business. All Marwadis come from there only, no issue. But these kids, they did not have any ideas. One, I think they wanted to start some kind of a studio, because we belong to mass communication studio, television, radio studio, how to do business. So we checked their knowledge, barring the mobile camera and some camera which they had seen here and there, they had no knowledge. That is pre-test. Of course, mobile has a camera. Some other cameras are also there. In fact, one mentee said, "Sir, GoPro is also there." Good, some knowledge is there, but that knowledge is not enough to do a business or a startup. A pre-test. So now we have to look for a mentor who will do the mentoring and conduct a post-test. That means, what is the initial knowledge and what is the final knowledge? That means, was there a gain or not? So, testability, measurability. How do we measure that knowledge? So, before test, some score is given. After mentoring, that is post-test, some score is given, that is measurable. The problem is ethical. Is it significant? Yes, it is significant, it is impactful also, because we have a control group who are not mentored at all. Now, this control group tells me whether whatever I have measured is a true measure or not. So, this is how I look for the significance and impact of my study within my own research design. Significance and impact of the study at a higher level is completely different. Let me be satisfied with what I am doing. Sergi, next. So, what was the research gap? Recognizing the research gap. Research gap here is, in the larger meaning, of course, she wrote down some 5 or 6 research gaps, but the larger meaning is there was lack of information available in social sciences on e-mentoring. So literature review showed that no one has done an experimental study using e-mentoring in social sciences. That is the largest gap that was found. This should be more than enough for a research scholar to do it. Now you have to analyze the limitations and unanswered questions. What is the limitation of my study? Obviously, experimental studies are very small, very narrow. They are not like survey, they are not like field studies, which will study a larger area. My limitation is if I study a very small area, can that be replicated into the larger area? That is what I have to understand now. And there are a number of unanswered questions as a researcher to me. The most important unanswered question is, when I complete my PhD, of course I will get the degree. But what is the use? Who will apply? Where this can be applied? These are the unanswered questions. Do you think the whole world is going to read my thesis and then start e-mentoring in the market? No. Because आप लोग अपने डिपार्टमेंट के PhD नहीं पढ़ते हैं. Let us be very honest. I'm sure there are so many people who have completed their PhD, they must not have gone back to their own PhD after completing it. That happens. But now my unanswered question is, how will I make the world apply to that? Whether they apply or not, that's a different situation. That as a researcher, I have to answer that question. If I say community radio is working fantastically, then how do I encourage other people to work on community radio? How do I do it? Can I tell, Baba, West Bengal mein community radio बेहतरीन काम कर रहा है, very good work is happening, start more community radio stations? Huh? Is it possible? These are the questions I have to answer. So I have to consider what are the recent trends in e-mentoring. Is it happening elsewhere? Yes, it is happening. In information technology, ICT world, it is happening. A lot of e-mentoring takes place. In engineering, it is happening. In medical sciences, it is happening. So, can I do it in my field? Can I make it happen in my field? So I start talking with experts, practitioners to find out mentoring, what are the subjects I can mentor, feasibility, etc., etc. Then I start analyzing the gaps. Can I take this? Can I leave this? What are the subjects I can? So a lot of preparation is required before you arrive on something. Is it interdisciplinary? Can I extend my study to management practices? Because if I want to do a startup, not only I should know how to do a television program using a camera, I should also know how to sell my program. That is the management aspect of it. So like this, a lot of discussion was held and experimental research design was approved by the university and of course the panel and the guide also. Then the experiment was actually conducted. Next slide, sir. Okay, now these are the parts of a research article. I'll come down to that little later on. But let me complete the story here. No, don't go to that, sir. Don't go. Yeah. Okay. Let me complete the story here. Because searching a research topic is not so easy. So everything was fantastic. She gave a beautiful title. We showed the relationship between the independent variable, that is e-mentoring, and the mentor, that is the dependent variable. Fantastic. Statistical tests were applied for experimental. I think she went in for ANOVA. Someone else will talk to you about these statistical tests, level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on and so forth. But remember, I have been stressing whether green revolution can be replicated elsewhere. So the Tanjavur district study showed that radio is a very popular medium among farmers. It helped them in learning how to cultivate high yielding variety paddy seed. Same thing happened in Punjab, high yielding variety wheat and high yielding variety sugarcane. Those are the two things which the entire Punjab grows. There are many subjects I can come up with. I can give you a number of examples. But the problem with this experimental study is, how will they use my findings? See, having conducted the experiment, the society should be able to use my finding. So, COVID vaccine experiment was conducted in selected hospitals using volunteers. Same thing here also. Then the society was able to use the vaccine because the study showed that vaccine is successful in improving the immunity levels of people so that they can ward off COVID, because COVID is more related to the immunity problems. Yeah, I'll come down to that. I'll take the questions little later on. Let me complete the story. Now, in this study also, I told the research scholar, sorry, how do you tell the whole world how to use your approach? You are successful in an experiment. No doubt about it. Fantastic. Statistically significant. How do you tell the whole world? This was a challenge. I don't know how many of you even think about such a challenge. I don't know. There was a lady, I think, who was interested in doing some study on some social media platforms. I don't know how that lady is going to tell the whole world how social media platforms are used or not used. See, at the end of the day, whatever research we do, it should be applicable. Of course, we do basic research, that is, we are adding on to the existing knowledge, but that does not mean that knowledge should not be used. So this was a challenge. Look at the challenge I can throw to my students. They are a little confused, sir. Mera to PhD ho gaya. My PhD is over. But madam, what is the use of getting a degree which you hang in your office room without telling the whole world how it can develop? When you develop as a faculty, the whole world should also develop, isn't it? If not the whole world, at least some part of the earth should develop. Same thing happened with this Vanuli Arasi. We started getting more rice, isn't it? Then that student was really confused. So this is a challenge I don't think he can meet. I said, no, nothing is impossible. You are a very smart girl, you can do it. I said, study, think. You may not believe what happened next. The answer came from her only. Sir, can I develop a tool kit Fantastic. So she developed an e-mentoring toolkit which can be used by anyone to practice e-mentoring. Isn't it fantastic? The best part of this entire story is the toolkit was very recently, last week, published in a SCOPUS journal. And fortunately, I saw it in LinkedIn, and there were so many questions and appreciation about the toolkit. So, logical end of your work. You are presenting a toolkit to the society so that using the toolkit, the society can develop societal significance of that study. So is the case with radio rice. So taking cue from that toolkit, this is the research article. A very beautiful title, not a research title, article title. A very decent abstract telling what is there in it. A very brief introduction to your subject. What is e-mentoring? Trying to answer those questions. How the study was done, etc., etc. Then related literature available. E-mentoring is a very popular concept in the West. It's a very popular concept in the West. In fact, where I worked in Oman, way back in 2009, people were talking about e-mentoring there. Omanis. And you can imagine predominantly they cannot speak English, their language is Arabic. We feel that they are backward, but they are not. Methodology, experimental research design. Results, the outcome of pre-test, post-test. Discussion, how it happened, what are the research outcomes, and so on and so forth. Objective-based outcomes. And finally, the conclusion is presentation of a toolkit to be used by people who are interested in e-mentoring. So this should be your approach as far as selection of topic is concerned. So selection of topic is not like I do some studies here and there and then put some words here and there and say this is my topic. It's not going to happen. Yeah, before I go to, I don't know how much of time is left. We can say also, how much time is there, Sayak sir?
Sir, there is time.
Okay. Yeah. So before I go to the publication part of it, of course, I think in the morning I was hearing a speaker who spoke about publication. Maybe my perspective will be slightly different from what he said. I'm more into the academic aspect of it rather than the publishing aspect of it. If there are any questions, can I take?
There is one question from FDP Taneja. How do we choose between inductive and deductive reasoning for different research methodologies?
Sorry, there is no choice. There's nothing in between. They're always related. Deductive logic provides us the major premise: all men are mortal. Inductive logic provides us the minor premise: Socrates is a man. Observation. So using both of them, you draw a conclusion. I know this is not very clear. You'll be scratching your head because we don't know who Socrates is. We never saw him. So let us take some example. In today's world, the deductive logic, that means where you deduce from a major thought process to a minor thought process, in your research language, you call it as a assumption or a hunch. So every researcher starts with an assumption or a hunch, from where you deduce either to stand by your hunch or reject it. So what is this assumption or hunch? In modern language, it is called as hypothesis. So using the deductive logic, we come out with a hypothesis or a hunch where we say there is no significant difference between independent and dependent variables. Using the inductive logic, we observe. If we find that there is a difference, we reject the null hypothesis of no significant difference and accept the alternate called as there is a significant difference. If our observation does not show radical differences, we stand by our hunch, what is called as there is no significant difference between A and B. So in Radio Rise has shown that there is a significant difference in the change of their knowledge, attitude and practice, what is called as a CAP study, KAP study. So that boy rejected the null hypothesis of no significant difference, that is his deductive logic, observed and rejected and said there is a significant difference. That means radio plays a significant role in agricultural development. Did I answer the question?
If the participant, Akriti, if you are there, please, you can unmute yourself and you can tell sir whether you got your answer or if you have any further queries. So we can move on to the next question, can we?
Yeah, there is one Keshav Vivek.
There is a Keshav Vivek who is actually pursuing research on YouTube. Is being used for language revitalization. People using their mother tongue again. One aspect of it, ID language prestige. Can we do experimental research on how exposure to YouTube content about language relationship builds language prestige and drives language revitalizations? So he's actually asking about the experimental research design on YouTube videos.
Keshav, looks like you are bitten by the bug called experimental research.
Like sir, structured equation models.
Huh?
Like a structural equation model, because
Yeah.
many comes and says that put the topic in anything, just put structural equation model because that is very popular.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you can do it. Why not? But you cannot use the existing YouTube content. Because in experimental research designs, you should also develop the content. I'll tell you a fantastic story here. Akash Muni should be very happy about this, if he's there. One of my students, Pramod Kumar Jaina from Odisha, Akash Muni is also from Odisha. He did the first experimental research design way back in 1987-88, if I remember. He wanted to know the role of small newspapers in agricultural development. Can you believe he went to his village, I think in Behrampur or somewhere in Odisha, and started a newspaper himself and started giving agricultural news to the rural people. He used to sell, distribute, not sell, 1,000 copies in the rural area. And he said, yes, small newspapers can play a role in agricultural development in this limited area. But in case if newspapers can give agricultural news, it can be in a larger area also. Now ask me, where did he get this cue? He got the cue because Hindu, a newspaper from South, publishes every Friday or Thursday agricultural news. And who reads Hindu? Definitely not from the village, only people like me. So, Vivek, if you are interested, you should become a YouTuber first. Develop the content in your research area and try to see whether the YouTube content, which is related more to the language, does make any difference among the audience or not. That is the reason why very few people take experimental research design. Remember, you are the creator, you are the protector, and you are the destroyer in research. Tridev.
Thank you, sir. I guess he has got an answer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
one question, small question of myself, which
Mhm.
I in my initial days of PhD, and
Mhm.
for new PhD scholars who are getting into the system, um, maybe they are into the research area, but they are saying that they are claiming that they are done with the research topic. I keep on telling them, no, you are probably in the research area. It's very
Yeah.
decide about the topic. So if you can just elaborate that when is the time from them to shift from research area and then finalizing the topic, and it's a journey, I guess.
Honestly speaking, there is nothing called finalizing the topic. It is only an administrative requirement for the university to tell so and so is working on such and such a research topic. At the end of the day, you have to tell what is the topic on someone who is working. The reason is, to be very honest with you, topic is registered like you are registering a vehicle in your name. Registration of the topic does not mean you are given the license to drive the vehicle. So driving the vehicle with a valid license is more important rather than the registration of the vehicle in my name. That is how I look at it. So it is a continuous process. Maybe Even now, if I look at my own PhD topic, I still feel, I think I should have changed it to something. That feeling should come to you. So, registration of the topic is only an admin requirement. It is not a research requirement. Because research on a particular area is ever evolving, not stagnant to a particular topic suggested. I have seen many researchers at the end before submission, they say, sir, can I change the topic now? The university is, no, we gave you 6 months time, ab ho gaya. You are married to someone, stay with it. Whether you like the name or not. At least we can change our name. If I'm not happy with my wife's name, I can always go to the court and change. Ye yahan par nahi hota. So, Sayag sab, there is nothing called a topic finalized. But what comes out of that thought, which we call it as a topic, is more important rather than the topic itself. Look at my name. Finalized 1954. Kaushal. Am I really Kaushal? If I say yes now at the age of 70, then my name is good.
At least I'm free to choose our topic at the very end whenever we are writing any article or writing any chapter. In that way, I guess, what do you think, sir? Should we actually come to the topic at the very end of whenever we are writing a research paper? Or we should go for a tentative and the final one? I mean, I have been asked this question once. There's a junior to me. He's also a research scholar. He said, "Hey, what should I do? I have made a topic. Should I keep it and send it to the journals, or should I finalize the topic at the very end?" Because many times, though it is an unethical practice, but you must have also seen that people send their abstract, make the title, create the abstract and keywords, and send it to the journals and conference. And then when this abstract is accepted, then they start writing start the process of writing the full paper. So this practice for many.
Very, very good question. I would definitely prefer reverse engineering. You know what I do? Normally, I have written so many topics. Even this e-mentoring topic is also my brainchild only. Anyways, since I am not attached to any university now, she cannot carry my name, though she has acknowledged it's because of me. I told her, Baba, first write. Then sit back and think what should be the best title to be given to that topic. See, let me go with your example. You send an abstract and a topic to some journal. They accept and you start working on it. Like the other person was telling, even Akash Muni told. By the time you finish your article, the journal may not exist. This is the situation. UGC CARE will say, Baba, ye nahi hai. Chala gaya. That is why I think the speaker also cautioned, take a screenshot of it and keep it with you. Because you can say, yes, when I was working, it was there. Now it is dead. So you send it to another journal, they say, nahi, ye theek hai. This is not good. What do you do? So first work. Satisfy yourself that, yes, I have worked, I have found out something. And then you try to name it. Sometimes what happens is these journals also change the title to suit to their requirement. This is the problem. Okay. Like in passport, if I write Kushal Kumar, they are not happy. I have to write my complete name, Kushal Kumar Ram Prasad. My dad is also there now. This is the problem. So best is work. Don't think about the title. Because in an article, you're not registering anywhere. Right? Do the research, finish it off, and then you can give it. Very recently, one of my research scholars, she wrote a review article on OTT platforms. She picked up programs which have ratings of 7+, and she reviewed the programs of almost all the OTT platforms. And she wrote a beautiful article, and then finally she said, "Sir, iska title kya dein?" So I will always recommend reverse engineering. But unfortunately, in PhD, it cannot be done. The reason is within 6 months of your registration and as a PhD scholar, they start sitting on your head, topic do, registration karna hai, registration. So it happens. It's only an admin requirement, not a research requirement, honestly speaking.
Thank you, sir. I remember when we were having chat, we were conceptualizing about your session. Then you also mentioned that there should be mentioning of in some form, dependable and independable variables on the title itself.
Yeah.
Actually elaborate on that sense because the participants.
Yeah, because unless and until you do research, you don't know the interaction between the IV and the DV. Only when you are completely aware and what is the kind of interaction, what is the extent of interaction between independent and dependent variables, then only you can think of naming it. But it has become such a, suddenly a university circular will say, what are the topics on which you are doing research? HOD will ask, so you have to give something. That is a part and parcel of our life. But as a true researcher, I would say, let me work first, then I will come back to you. Yeah,
Anand,
can we?
please go on, and we can actually have all the other questions at the end of the session.
Yeah, can I go to the next slide? That is. Now, these are the things which are there, which is expected. Link is also there in the larger this thing. They can see a video on that. Next one, why publication? Yeah, why publish? Many of us think of publishing when we are asked to publish. That is the reason I told it took 19 years for me to do my PhD. Because I was trying to answer the question, why publish? If I had published some article based on my objectives, then I would be pushing myself to achieve a degree. But I did not do so. Because for me, publishing is used as a tool for my own academic development, not a requirement of my department. We can always fulfill the requirement of our department. The moment you get registered in a university, they say there should be 2 articles published in SCOPUS related journals before you submit, and 2 articles later on. Later on, very few do. Before they have to do because the thesis will not be accepted. Now, pre-submission aata hi nahi hai. 2 conferences and 2 articles published, then only pre-submission seminar will take. So the true spirit of this entire faculty development program is not necessarily to tell research scholars that faculty development can be done this way. The heart and the spirit of this entire FDP should be to encourage them to publish whether it leads to their PhD or not. So I enrolled myself in projects, completed the project, learned what exactly is the research. Then I took time to understand how these things are done. Then I did my research. To be very honest, it will not take much time for you to do your PhD. I don't know why they give some 3 years, 3.5 years. 6 महीने काफी है. But the problem is you don't know what is research. So if you happen to know what is research and how it can be done, like I did 2 projects, 6 research articles, then it is easy. See what happened. Let me tell you how this happens. Publication. We see a lot of posters when we go outside on development, even in rural areas also. So I was interested in how people were reading the poster, particularly in rural areas. So I did a poster study. So that gave me an insight as to how people look at a poster on development materials. So again, I was still thinking about whether posters have got any use or is there any gratification derived. Not only that, I was also thinking in terms of how diffusion of an idea, what we call it as innovation, Everett Rogers model, can be achieved through a poster. So why publishing should be more related to your own academic development rather than an admin requirement of a department of R&D. So if we are publishing articles, 1 or 2 articles, attending 1 or 2 seminars, to fulfill the requirement of pre-submission 3 years from now or 2.5 years from now, then that is one way of doing it. But a faculty member can never say, I have completed. This OTT article, we wrote together about a month back. I'm 70, retired. He said, sir, आपके बिना ये article नहीं बनेगा. I said, madam, मैं तो घर पे बैठा हूँ. What is the relevance here? He said, no, sir. Even if it is published as a newspaper article, your name should be there. I said, yes. That urge. So, all faculties, my humble request is, publish for your own academic development. Because you are answerable to your career. Most of you may be very young. Another 25, 30 years is there in front of you. How do you develop? This is the only way. Whether it is SCOPUS or Web of Science or UGC. Now, why do we think in terms of SCOPUS? The reason is it has a very broad coverage. Wide range of academic disciplines are there in SCOPUS. Natural sciences, social sciences, engineering, medicine. Apart from broad coverage, one of the best things that happens in SCOPUS is quality assessment. That is the reason I think the speaker was telling, don't look for Q4 and Q3, look for Q1 and Q2. Q1, Q2 are the highest quality. I always aim at Q2 because I am not very sure whether I can reach Q1. That is the advantage. Then SCOPUS advantage is it has a global representation. It is not limited to a particular area. You can go to SCOPUS related journal and you can see throughout the whole world, publications are taking. And SCOPUS provides you a great visibility. You're instantly recognized. Let me tell you, when the SCOPUS, UGC Care, UGC Care was not there, Web of Science was not there. We published in some art journals, maybe Indian Institute of Mass Communication, they were having a couple of journals. Where was the visibility? Where was the recognition? My own faculty members did not read the article which I published. But today, you see, that girl published an article in SCOPUS and immediately LinkedIn said, look, your research scholar is there with this article, Mr. Kaushal. That is what we are looking at. Then, the advantage of SCOPUS is reliable database. Okay? And it's an authoritative database because they take so much of care to provide research material to the whole world. Okay? Then very good author profiling is there. So whatever articles are there, your author profiling is there. You can track it. Citations are there. Collaborations are possible. So that is the reason why we always look for SCOPUS. I'm not saying that I think most of us say don't publish in UGC. If you have published, forget it. No, don't demean our own system. Why do you think anything published in UGC Care, nobody is reading it? I can show hundreds of articles. Because similar rigorous evaluation process is there in UGC Care also, like SCOPUS or Web of Science. Because UGC is a national body. It is not some chota mota publishing agency. And they also do a lot of quality assurance. Never demean it. I don't know why people have this kind of a UGC Care. I mean, never do that. And the best part, when you have hope in this, you are promoting your own journals. Now, why should you think that to be recognized, an article should be published in New York Times only? What is the great service they are doing? What is wrong if an article is published in an Indian newspaper? Do you think they are doing a fantastic job? Of course they are doing. And why not we? It's possible. And it has a very good academic impact. Look at the number of students they publish. Of course, I don't deny the SCOPUS and Web of Science and etc. are topmost, but nothing to demean our own thing. In fact, let me tell you, it is UGC Care which tells us what journals exist today and what journals do not exist. They don't even hesitate to remove SCOPUS journals. Because constant evaluation is taking. And the best part of UGC, which probably SCOPUS or Web of Science cannot give, is the diversity of language. Suppose if someone wants to do something in Bengali language, why not? In fact, many of my students, when they were doing their PhD in Kannada language, that is the language of my state here, they did not get an opportunity, but there were UGC Care journals which gave them an opportunity to publish in their own language. Language diversity is there. Tell me which agency will give that? Okay. And the best part of UGC care is it is a continuous evaluation and updates. If something is there today, if the UGC care, UGC, a national body thinks it is not relevant today, it's gone. And UGC care has one important thing. It can even lead to funding. Don't forget that. Which Scopus and Web of Science may not be able to. In fact, very recently I was taking a few classes in Mysore University. They invited me to lecture to their research scholars. And one scholar who was doing a research in a particular area specific to a particular language, university sent the proposal to UGC and they said, if not completely, will partially fund this PhD. See that? In fact, my master's degree thesis was partially funded by UGC because I was a part and parcel of a UGC project then. Evaluation of 20-point economic program of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister then. Yeah, it's possible. So any publication is welcome. But like I tell you, don't do the publication for the sake of doing. Publication should be from your heart. Publication should be from your mind. Number is just a number. So don't be, like I said, thus publication. But quality. Quality matters than quantity. Remember that. Okay. Anyway, the person who spoke I was also listening to him. He has given you an in-depth knowledge of the scope of Web of Science, UGC care. But academically speaking, irrespective of where you are, UGC or Web of Science or Scopus, publish. That is the only way you can do. See, you might say that एक article publish हो गया, but to publish that article, the amount of knowledge you have gained as a teacher in the form of review of literature, in the form of doing the analysis of data, in the form of developing the tool for data collection. Where will you get that knowledge without publication? Tell me. Nowhere. Books are there only to help you to deliver a lecture. I never depend on any book. My research, my review of literature, my reading provides me the knowledge. Okay? So it is a lifetime experience, which no library, no book, no website can provide you. So that is how as a teacher you develop. You don't stick to one area. I said, yes, I did the research in this area. I did the research in radio, did research in newspaper. I did research in non-government organization or not-to-profit organization. Okay. So these are the things which will enhance your knowledge and make you with a person, a teacher with a broader outlook. So that is why I always recommend publication. But yes, there are some university requirements. We have to go through those requirements. I don't deny that. But even if you keep the university requirement as a focal point, still meeting that requirement with a very good research enhances your knowledge. Let me tell you, review of literature is the best thing for a teacher. Don't stop with your PhD. Don't stop with your article. Continuously read available literature in your area. broaden your perspective so that you feel confident that yes, you did something as a teacher. Yes, any questions?
So we got one question. Okay. So it says, apart from conferences where we present our papers, where someone comments on what we have done, how do we get people to provide counter arguments for our research output, as most faculties are busy with their own teaching and administrative work? Is there any sites where people discuss research work? Can we do it with people belongs to other streams? For example, if I'm from mass communication, can I get inputs from linguistics or language trainers? Is it possible? I mean, I guess he's asking about the interdisciplinary approach or
Yeah, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yes.
Yeah. This e-mentoring article, today morning before coming to this class, I was reading so many comments. In fact, I think one comment came from an IT professional from Bangalore. So like that, see, even when you publish, if someone is using your material and citing you, that itself is a very good feedback for you. In fact, some sites start asking me, taking my own name, is it you? Can you confirm? We get emails like that. So don't think that other academics are blind or deaf to your work. We always react. In fact, 4 days back, a research scholar from Rajasthan asked me, "Sir, ye padh raha tha, kya kare?" I said, react to that. Write to the author in case if you. In fact, there are many people who write to the author to get more information. So never imagine ki bhai, I did some publication and it's gone. In fact, let me tell you, almost I think when I was in the last year of my Rajasthan job career, one person asked me, "Sir, you made a mention in your CV that you did a study on posters. I want to do the study on posters. What is the suggestion you have got? What did you find?" And in fact, that person who doesn't belong to mass communication, he is a designer basically. He designs posters. He did a study on posters, different kinds of posters, and he came out with his own findings. So he related one of my study there. And this poster study was done when no publications were there, except Indians of Mass Communication. I'll just give you how these findings really work. There was a poster about Paushtik Ahar, good food for child's development. So the poster contained a picture of children of Rama, that is Love and Kush. And of course, a beautiful thali with good food, vegetables, fruits, etc., etc., etc. So one old person, must be in 80s, then I'm talking about 1980s, he kept on looking at that poster time and again. Then I asked him, "Sir, do you want this poster? You want to take it? I can always give it. I have a spare poster. You can take it to your house." He said, "No, sir, I am not interested in taking the poster to my house." Then I told him, "Why are you coming and seeing this poster half a dozen times?" I had displayed that poster in some very important area in the village where many people walk around, some main road. He used to come and see. Can you believe? I was shocked, literally. You will be shocked. He said, "Sir, I have not seen God eating food. I have never seen God eating food." So the relevance was, why are you putting God's children? Look at my grandchildren. They are also very healthy. Why don't you put my grandchildren picture there? I wrote that article in a newspaper also that created a huge problem to the government of Karnataka. They had to withdraw nearly 8 posters which were found irrelevant. And during those days, they lost nearly 3 to 4 lakh rupees printing those posters. This is the impact of research. In fact, I wrote an article on, research article on tiger. Okay. And that created a problem. Central Vigilance Commission had to come to my department to verify what I am trying to tell is true or not. And they had to finally transfer the chief forest officer from Bandipur forest in Karnataka because of my research article. So don't think that nobody bothers about your research. Yes, there are people. They may be few, but they really can question. Yes, any more questions?
Well, I would request the participants, now you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions, or if you cannot, you can actually write down the questions in the chat box. We are going to read out the question. Personally, I will read out the question for sir. And so, when we actually, the last one who actually asked about a forum, last year, I also came across to research where some of the journals are actually, taking these services where the entire papers are being published on Research Square before, while the paper is there on the review. These are generally for the good paper, good journal, for example, Q1, Q2, or WS, core journals.
Yeah.
So what is happening is that they are also connected on LinkedIn. They are also connected on Twitter, where they are sharing the papers and they are getting, where they can get reviews from the academicians and researchers in that same field or similar field. So this is one forum, I guess, I can refer also. This just came to my mind. There are several other this kind of forums.
See, today is the age of social media. You put anything, people will react. Let me tell you, these printed publication days are over. Today, if I put my article, that article which was written long time back in any social media platform, I'm sure I'll be bombarded with reaction. The people are interested in reading. We should not assume that nobody is interested in reading or research.
And sir, might be many of the researchers will get plagiarism from your because I have heard that many of the researches which actually published like 25, 30 years back, there's no evidence of them. They are stored in the library, and many scholars they actually copied. And this we have been asked to not to do it during our research in the PhD induction, that any time, a point of time, university might decide to convert those into
Definitely, yes.
those will
It
be.
will happen. It will happen one day or the other. Today, transferring a printed text into something soft copy is not at all a problem. The university can take a decision. Let us make a soft copy of all the publications that were done in 80s and 90s and put it on the website. Done. Ho jayega. That's not a big issue.
And one more thing, sir, though it's beyond the scope of this particular topic, I remember during our PhD induction, some of the very senior professors, they told us that now you get all these platforms where you can actually go through the reviews. There are systematic tools. We used to read journals page by page and line by line during our time. So, sir,
Yeah.
share some of your experience on that.
Honestly, let me tell you, my saga, PhD saga is completely different. I was never satisfied. See, these 19 years it took just because I was not satisfied with the topic. I changed my topic 4 times and did 4 different registrations. You know why? See, from south, for us, Delhi is the best place to go because media exists in Delhi. So I used to take my students on a trip to Delhi, take them to media houses. Twice I came to Kolkata also because our idol in newspaper publication was Statesman, which is a newspaper from West Bengal. So we used to go to Delhi, and during the evening, these kids, they will go here and there, Delhi, idhar ghumo, udhar ghumo, golgappa khao, kuch bhi karenge. But I used to go to Institute of Mass Communication library, sit there and read almost till 11 o'clock. Kabhi I used to ask the faculty to borrow the journal or book for me, take it to wherever I am staying in a hotel, bring it back to them next day evening. So there is nothing second to reading for an academic. Even now, if I come across any good article, research article, any thesis, or any synopsis for that matter, or proposal, I'm very much interested in reading. So this is how I refined and refined and refined, and finally came out with a very strange combination for my own research topic. I used dependency theory, diffusion theory, uses and gratification theory in combination to understand the media effects. So first I started finding out how people become dependent. When you become, like someone was asking about YouTube, dependency on YouTube. Let me share a personal experience. In my kitchen, YouTube plays a very important role, particularly masala. So dependency on media is one important factor. Then how does that dependency translate into the diffusion of information? That is another important factor. And then how does that diffusion of innovation translate itself into achieving gratification? Look at the combination. And I'm talking about these things before the social media platforms came in. So I was thinking about that. Dependency on media, translating itself to the diffusion of innovation, that translating itself into achieving gratification. This is how we look at it. Okay. I'll just give you a very good story. One of my research scholars, very recently, she submitted her final copy. She is from Himachal Pradesh. She was a student of mine in Manipal, and then she became a colleague of mine in LPU. She wanted to know how to understand and study crisis. You see? And crisis management in industry. So she came and asked me, sir, ye kaise kare? I told her, look, try to contact some industries, try to find out from them. Whenever there is a crisis, how do they manage? So एक questionnaire बना लो या एक interview guide बना लो. Talk to the industrialist. He was very angry on me on that day. He said, sir, did I come to you to listen to this crap talk from you? She used this word. Then I told her, what else you expect? Sir, I am looking for something wonderful. Then I said, if you are looking for the wonderful thing to happen, then I will give you 4 different methods to understand crisis and crisis management. Method 1, case study. She did the case study of 40 different companies in India and abroad as a case study method to understand how these companies came out of crisis, how did they manage, including that Coca-Cola thing, etc. The second method was in-depth interviews from professionals and practitioners. That is PR people working in the company, professionals working in PR agencies. The third method was asking people as to what is their understanding of crisis. 3 methods used in one study. And the fourth method was, can you believe, she also came out with a PR toolkit to manage crisis, that is crisis management. Just, I think, today, the university is going to send the final copy to the examiner. Hopefully, 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, the final viva will be conducted. So, I don't recommend one single methodology, one single theory to support your work. Never. It is not going to happen. So, case study is one method to understand globally how the crisis was managed. In-depth methodology was, in-depth interview methodology or depth interview methodology was adopted to understand how professionals, that is agency people who are sitting there to resolve the crisis, like the advocates of a company, how do they look at the crisis? How a PR person who is actually sitting in front of that burning tire, that is called crisis, is trying to resolve it. And then you and me, when we look at the crisis in Coca-Cola or Air India or anything, how do we react to that? So don't stick to one single methodology. Sometimes people say, sir, I'm doing survey method. Right? But the problem with survey method, I mean, let me tell you, many of these students, I mean, research scholars, they don't even know how to do sampling. The best method today, the sampling is snowball. So you make a questionnaire, let it roll and roll and roll and roll, snowball. Then finally you come out with a small ball is left, itna bada aa jata hai. That is your data. But snowball का भी एक तरीका होता है ना. One method is there even for snowball. Convenience does not mean sitting in Adamas University canteen and filling up your questionnaire. That is not convenience sampling. So there are many issues I'm sure the FDP will deliberate on, and sampling is one area which is always a challenge. So tell me, a research scholar from Advanced University says, I want to study in Kolkata. Arey bhaiya, what is the population of Kolkata? How do you arrive at a sample? What is wrong in choosing a small area in Kolkata, do a study, and look for its applicability into the entire city? गलत क्या है उसके अंदर? No. 600 sample size. Students asking, sir, 600 काफी है? 1000 ले लो? अरे भाई, this is the problem we face today. I'm sure like there are many speakers who will come after me. They will provide all the details on sampling, methodology. I mean, there's another fancy thing that happens among students. They say, sir, my friend did ANOVA, should I also do ANOVA? Arey bhaiya, you have only a simple cough. Why do you want to get yourself admitted to a hospital? These are the fancy things that is happening today. And you as a faculty in Adamas, caution all your research scholars that these fancy things which are, in fact, YouTube में बहुत अच्छे explanation आते हैं. Many good explanations come on all these statistical tests. Someone says, sir, should I do factor analysis? I mean, where are the factors in your questionnaire? Generate factors. Statisticians are there. Madam, don't worry. There are 20 questions, 20 factors are there. We'll do factor analysis. This is not the method. You have to be very careful in your analyzing the data, data collection. I keep on asking these people, sir, what should be the sample? I said, you have one thing called a mishti dohi, sweet curd, correct? In your West Bengal. How do you know it is tasty? Just by eating one spoon, you can tell, huh? So why do we need to eat the entire quantity of curd, 100 grams, to tell this is a very tasty food? This is the problem with sampling. People don't understand. And go to your house, look at how your mom cooks. She makes a curry and she takes a few drops of curry in her hand. She licks it. Namak theek hai. That is the sample, not the entire curry in the vessel. This is the problem where students face today. Because there is statistical tools are the SPSS 26th model. But how many of us know whether SPSS is really relevant to us? SPSS was developed by IBM for something else. Then they said, "Arey, SPSS technology ke liye to social science ke liye kyun nahi?" So SPSS came. So in the FDP, I'm sure each one will deliberate on every level. Level 1 mein kya ho raha hai? That is nominal level. Level 2, ordinal. What is wrong in rank order coefficient of correlation? Level. Yeah.
Scales, data ko.
Yeah.
And sometimes we also neglect the very simple tools like Excel. Excel can.
Yeah, they do it. Unnecessarily, they are contacting some statistician who is charging exorbitantly, which you can do with your own laptop. Okay. Any more questions from the audience?
More questions, please put it on the chat box. Whilst they are doing it, because we are reaching at the end of the session, not actually summarize the entire session. It's vast. It's ocean. What you talked about, you barely touched upon some part of it. If given an entire week, it will be less for you to talk about.
Definitely. In fact, let me tell you, research methodology, I think 2 semesters mein padhana chahiye. It should be in 2 semesters. Because 1 semester and this courses which you do before registering, it's nominal here. Because what they learn is when they do the research. I think there is some question.
Somebody is asking. Yes, we are recording this and we will share the recording.
Yeah, it's there. Here my slides are also there, which is elaborate, should be more than enough to the topic given to me. And in case if I get an opportunity to physically meet let me see.
Experimenting with the methods, experimenting with the data collection tools. So every day there are new methods which are coming.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a never-ending game. That's it.
Research never ends. If you put a full stop to research, then the whole world will stop.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you.
Nowhere, no, whether it's physical science or social science or whatever it is, you cannot put a full stop to a research program. It's only a comma.
To the development stops also.
Definitely. Even now, if I'm given a chance, I would be very happy to do a funded research. But nobody recognizes the old man. Don't worry.
No, sir, your wisdoms are. So just to conclude the session, so talked about a very. I'm not being able to include everything. It would have taken another entire session for that. But still, some points which I could jot down: inductive, and deductive logic, relationship between interdependent and dependent variable, research problem identification, which is very crucial while you begin your journey, recognizing the research gap and its importance, feasibility testing. Sir actually talked about it, pre and post test, which is very essential for some particular type of research, experimental and control group research design, which is also very crucial for some fundamental research areas, considering emerging trends while conceptualizing. So this is the updating of your research at par with the recent developments. And I mean, why it is required to write a good research article. He also actually talked about it. Sir also talked about CAP study, and why, most importantly, publication is important, not to cater to the requirement of your college, department, and university, but rather cater to the society, to the country, to the human development as a whole. So it should not be a tick in the bottom, tick in the box. It should be more like you have to have that zeal to do something for the society.
Someone was asking a book.
Yes, sir.
My book, which is a Bible, is not in the area of field of communication. It's in psychology, research methods in psychology or something like that name. And it's written by Fred N. Kerlinger. Okay, that is the book to understand what is research. And that is very difficult book to read and understand. But definitely you learn a lot from it. The other book which you can look for immediate application in your research or in your student's research is again not in the field of communication. It is in the field of education, because education people, they do a very good research. They are known for it. And that is Research in Education by John Best and Khan. Two very good books. So Kerlinger is for you to learn. John Best and Khan is a very good book for you to apply. Immediate application. Latest versions are there, and they are not very expensive. Even soft models are available. PDF files are also there. You don't really have to buy them. Some earlier edition PDF is available. Just Google it, you will get it. That's not a big issue. So these are the two books I recommend, though both of them don't belong to the field of communication. First, let me tell you, we are living on borrowed science. There's nothing called field of communication. All our theories are from sociology or psychology, including media theories. Okay. So nothing wrong in getting knowledge from any other field and apply to your field and make it rich. That is what I always advise, because I've been teaching research methodology for almost 40 years now. Okay. So these are the two good books. Of course, there are many books available, but for a teacher, this is the best.
So they are asking for.
I think you can share my mobile number, my email ID. Since I'm a retired person, sitting at home over a cup of tea, we can have a chat. Not a big issue. But don't forget to send me virtual tea.
Whoever requires his phone number, contact number, can contact us and we will share the number.
But recognize yourself that you are from Adamas University or you attended this FDP, so that I know to whom am I speaking to. No issues, no issues. Share it. बहुत सारे लोग contact करते रहते हैं. I mean, since I'm more free now, I cannot say, no, I'm busy. I'm very free unless my grandchildren come home. Otherwise, I'm very free, no issues. Anytime. Arey, let me tell you, Sayak Saab, some questions came at about 11:45 in the night. I answered them at 11:55 in the night. You can ask Akash. He used to get shocked. ये क्या है, बुड्ढा सोता भी नहीं. So don't worry. Feel free to contact me. You're always welcome. And I'm there for.
When you actually talked about the two books, one from psychology, another from education, I think that we are now moving towards an age where we are also inculcating interdisciplinary. It's not
definitely. It is not. I inculcated this interdisciplinary approach long time back.
Exactly. So, like, we have actually introduced media economics. We have introduced media psychology as a subject.
Yeah.
Department. So they are actually.
Media. I will tell you, Sayak, as a dean of Manipal University, Manipal Universal Learning, I started an MBA program, Masters in Business Administration. Can you believe what that program is? For media and entertainment industry.
We
in association with Whistling Woods International, Mumbai.
Wonderful, sir. Actually, we all.
Yeah, this is what I did way back in 2007.
Wonderful.
Okay, so there is no dearth of association. Let us not stop.
And when we are actually practically restricting one subject, one discipline to its only core areas, we are actually limiting its access.
Definitely. And these are not the days for limitation. The whole world is there with us. In fact, I would be very happy if someone can do a research in plant communication.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, biology. How do plants communicate? How do ants communicate? In fact, the very first model of communication came from bees, honeybee. The kind of dance they do, in front of, during the sunrise early in the morning, they go and the worker bees start dancing in front of the beehive. What are they communicating? They are communicating the quality of food that is available, the distance they have to travel to get that food, and the direction. So they have a beautiful Google map.
Wonderful.
Yeah. There are evidences to show bees are the best communicators in the whole world. Yeah.
Okay, sir, with that, we come to an end of the session, but we are looking forward to many such sessions with you. We can
definitely, I'm there. Online, I'm available, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I don't see all of you, but anyway, thank you very much.
And for the participants, we will meet again for the next session at sharp at 2:30.
Okay. Thank you.